You throw it at someone and I will get you for assault because I got you on video, lady. I will call the cops on you.
Another day, another Karen harassing service workers.
Yeah, you need to leave. Are you going to give me a cup of coffee? You're going to act like this. Then give me a cup of coffee. Quit asking me.
I'm not asking, I'm telling you need to leave. I am the manager of this establishment.
Get away.
You need to get out. Yeah, you
Kid. Lady, it's coffee.
Here she is, the magnificent Care making a scene over the old Morning Joe.
Kid.
Ma'am, get out.
She can't be serious. Starbucks workers are suddenly spoiled? Since when?
I'm the manager. Get the out. Go to hell. You too.
Whoever this manager is, please give her a raise and protect her.
Have a great day. I'm so tired of it.
Why be such a diva and berate people? As we have discussed, if you are considering being in a rage because of long wait times, or if a person accidentally gets your order wrong, or you're just considering chastising them, just a piece of advice: don't. A new report from the nonprofit One Fair Wage says tipped workers have seen a dramatic uptick in harassment during the pandemic. 40% of service industry employees surveyed for the report said they have seen a noticeable change in the frequency of unwanted sexualized comments from guests. Many of the comments involve male customers asking female servers to remove their masks so that they can judge their looks and implicitly determine their tips on that basis, according to the report. One Fair Wage, a U.S. organization that advocates for ending sub-minimum wage pay for workers who receive tips, said it surveyed about 1,675 food service workers in New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Illinois, Pennsylvania, and D.C. The organization's president noted that the states chosen for the survey had much tougher coronavirus guidelines for restaurants compared to others, yet service workers still face increased risk of exposure and sexual harassment. The experiences of workers are much, much worse in states with more lax guidelines and protocols around masks and social distancing. The president said, "We have heard all the same stories from workers in Michigan and California and other parts of the country. A staggering 83% of respondents said their tips have decreased overall since the start of the pandemic, highlighting the financial impact on service workers whose restaurants or bars were forced to close or operate with limited capacity. Many of the respondents expressed concern for their health and safety amid customers' unwillingness to comply with COVID-19 safety protocols," the report states. More than half said customers who were asked to follow coronavirus safety protocols, such as wearing a mask, slashed their tips. Other key findings from the survey include more than half of respondents, 58%, said they were hesitant to enforce COVID-19 safety measures out of fear they would be tipped less. About 44% of workers reported one or more of their colleagues had contracted the virus. I go back to a BuzzFeed article that we've shared previously on the stories of why restaurant workers quit their jobs. In short, it's maddening. The amount of disrespect from guests went up 1,000% during the initial COVID-19 shutdown and didn't get better once things began to reopen. Sure, the tips might have been good from time to time, but it wasn't worth the guests yelling at me and my coworkers constantly. Just because we had to enforce COVID protocols and our wait times were a little longer than usual since we were so short-staffed, wrote one anonymous worker. It's been terrible in NYC. I remember last year when we were the heroes working through the pandemic. Now the crappy behavior is back. Terrible tips, attitudes about mask mandates, and even more entitlement than pre-pandemic times. I'm a hospitality veteran and have been in the industry for 15 plus years. I've now dropped almost $5,000 in career change focused therapists and counselors because I would rather castrate myself with a plastic spoon than work in the industry another day. Bartending used to be fun, but it's turned into a nightmare. And lastly, at least for this piece, I've been a server for 25 years, and the only reason I'm not going back is because of the customers. Every server will tell you that the customers have become intolerable since the onset of COVID-19. Yes, the money can suck and the hours aren't great, but the Karens of the world are taking over. And since I'll definitely get fired for telling them how I feel, I'll just never go back to work in a restaurant again. The customers act worse than my 4-year-old grandson. The customers are not always right.